Hola traders, 24th of April, January, February, March, April. God, did I just have to do that? 24th of April, 2017. And so it's Monday, and I have just got back from, I had a week break, and everything's been going really, really awesome for me at the moment. So I had a week break during which time I had some time to chill in the UK. I actually basically slept for a whole day. I managed to meet up with my sister. She lives in Belgium. She came over and we went down to Tunbridge Wells with her and her fella and had a nice meal and that. I did a boating trip. I can't remember what else, but I can tell you that I went to Madrid, which is why this is on here. I went to Madrid for the weekend, just to chill out, really. I like to just do a kind of spontaneous random trip. So I literally woke up and then went, okay, where am I going? Madrid it is. And I booked some tickets and I went a couple of hours later, which was superb. Really awesome city. I don't know if you've ever been there or not. I've spent a lot of time in Spain over the years, but never made it to Madrid. And now I'm really big fan of it. Obviously, this is one part of Madrid, Real Madrid Football Club. Yeah, everyone was like, "You got to go down there, man. You got to go down there." I went down there, and I'm an Arsenal fan, right? I don't like to go on about it too much. Certainly, maybe not at the moment, but yeah, I'm seeing another stadium. It was cool and all that, but yeah, I kind of made it through the trophy cabinet with haste. Anyway, so that's been going well. Yeah, obviously I was having fun with that, been exploring. Nothing happening on the business front, but on the trading front, which is why we're all here. God, I'm really looking red on there. I don't know if the lighting's bad in here. I am pretty red, but I think the lighting needs to change. I'll sort that. But trading wise, yeah, I've had my best week of the year. Now, unfortunately, my website has been hacked, so I'm having to kind of manually do everything at the moment, but it's the same old thing. So this week I've managed to drag 1.7% out the markets, which is pretty cool because I'm only risking. I've been going such small risk at the moment, so 0.25% risk on any of the trades at any time. So to get this out is a good. I might have got up to zero point 0.3 actually. Is a good. Well, it's good. Okay, so what I thought I'd do is I'd go through these trades just to explain what I've done, mainly around oil actually. But I had an Aussie CAD trade open. Um, Actually, before I do the trades, yeah, so it's up 170 quid, which is I freaking needed it, as you know, but it's just handle turning, right? I don't let it bother me, and obviously it does bother me to a certain extent. We're all humans, but I don't let it affect what I'm up to, or whatever. So here's my. I don't usually include this with the posts, but here's. I usually just give you the graph here, so you can see the equity chart here. So it's had a nice lift upwards. Obviously want that to continue. But yeah, if you just look at all these negative numbers I've had throughout the first quarter, basically, I just realised that I've still got it indicated as Q1, whereas really it should. We're in Q2 now. But if Christ, I've had how many trades have we got there? I don't know how many we've got there. Quite a lot. You can see it's all red, which is fine. But when you're looking at it like I was without the last six trades on there, I've got one green one out of and I'm actually okay with it, but yeah, I mean, it does take some. You do have to just keep reminding yourself that's going to happen. And the other good things with it is, the more that happens, the more you can, in the future, I'll be there and aware that this can happen, and I get out of it. But yeah, so my aim is obviously to turn this around. Aim's been like that for the whole thing. I'm certainly not out of it yet, but there is some light there. So we'll just see if things keep turning around. So yeah, if you look at the actual close trade, so um, all of these, this one's a little bit big here, the silver 1.7. All of these though, I'm really happy with the amount lost, if that makes sense. They're all like small. They're all under 0.5%. Other than that one, I can't remember why that happened. And then I've got the winners. Okay, I've got a couple of really crappy small ones here, but I've got a couple that are reasonably sized here. So 0.6%. Again, it's only really helpful in the context of what you risked, really. Your triple R, which I don't actually log in this spreadsheet. but I have other software that is logging that now, actually, which one day I'll go into that, but not currently. Yeah, it's really good software. Anyway, what was I saying? So I'm just a bit old school. I'm still doing it this way. I will change over properly. So yeah, not too bad. So just to look at those trades. I keep saying that. Before we do that, so I was down last week. Everything closed. All being said and done, I was down 6.19% down. And now I am not. It's 4.49. So it's about 4.5% down. I am now. Yeah, obviously I don't want to be 4.5% down, but I am. So there. So we'll just see where it's going. I've got another trade open at the moment. Anyway, I'm mumbling. So let's look at these closed ones. Just quickly walk through it. So I actually I fell out of love with Aussie CAD. I've mentioned this a number of times before. So Aussie dollar CAD was a support and resistance trade, which I just basically fell out of love with because I realised that my trading goal was far too long. So I believe I was short around here. And then again, I can't get my website to tell you this definitively, but was it something like that? Well, no, it wasn't that much actually. It was around there. I think I got out. Oh, that's the problem. That's why I'm confused. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. It's behind that 50 level there. So I got out something like that. So I got all of this. I got a fair few pips out of it. But the problem, if there is one with this, was that my original plan was that this was I didn't think this trade was that likely to come off because I had a limit. I had a target down here, right the way down here, and I had my stop loss up here. Okay, maybe even a bit higher. I think it might be, yeah, it was quite high up actually. It might have even been there. So anyway, I only risked a small amount on here. So that's going from here to here. So 250 pips, but I think I'd only risked something like 0.2%. And then, I got out, where did I say got out? Here. So, I made kind of return of 1-to-1, but there wasn't much leveraged on it. So, yeah, a trade is a trade. I on reflection, it was the right thing to get out. If you look at it since I got out, it's just been rallying. Why don't I set that onto 8 there? I hope you're still with me. Yeah, it's just been rallying and it keeps rallying and rallying and rallying. So I was right. Define right. This might then go up and fall all the way down. But for where I was, I wanted to get out, and there's no point in chopping it if it is going to. Potentially could carry down, but it hasn't. It's reversed. So I'm all right with that. Deep breath, Philip. Right, next up is US oil. So let's have a look at US oil. So I was bullish US oil. Are these going to be okay? And I caught ignore the left right chart for now. So I got in at a really good price on US oil. I got in something like about there, I think. And up we went, and I trailed and I trailed and I trailed, and everyone was screaming at me to get out there. I did have an original target of 54, but I didn't. I got out about there, I think, because I still thought that this had legs to the upside from my analysis. So I stuck to it. Obviously, it'd be lovely to have sold off here, but yeah. You'd be bottom picking, top picking. Yeah, same but different. Anyway, so that was kind of looking like that. Okay, and yeah, I got stopped out. Now my little brain here. Oh yeah, the contract was also. Is this right? The contract was also coming up for renewal. So that's right. I was looking at this before it did that, and I was just going. It is starting to look short. Let me get that right. So it's starting to look really short like this. And I'm looking at my 2-hour chart, and it's crossing over through this cloud, which is the way that I trade 2-hour trades. So it's coming through like this. And I just thought, I wish I could go short on it, but there were no there were no days left on the contract, so I didn't want to buy the contract. You know, the way I trade is like, you know, swing trading. I expect it to be open fair few days, minimum really. So I then went to bed and going, oh, it's a shame I can't go short. Anyway, I woke up the next day and Jesus, why I hadn't thought of it was our good friend UK Oil. So that is when I managed to get the second oil trade out, not UK 100, UK Oil. Now, for some reason, I never trade UK Oil. I don't know why. It's a beautiful looking guy. Excuse me. So anyway, what happened here was, in fact, it even looks nicer on the 2 hour chart. I was late because I woke up and I saw it had gone down. So I presume yeah, there we go. So I apologise. I have to do this all from my brain. I should be a bit better queued up. So yeah, 2 hour chart here. I saw that this had happened and I just said, right, well, where's the value on this chart, right? So it's already broken. Where's the value? I'd have good value if I could get it to trigger about there, around this support level. Okay, because you've got to remember, obviously, when I'm putting the order in, I see it like that. I'm like, I don't really like it here because it's likely to bounce to 55. It's likely to come back. It's likely to hit the support and resistance line, and then hopefully, you know, the aim is that it goes down, and that is what happened. And then it just did that, and it did that, and then slowly and surely, click, 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 off we went. I was in Madrid when it did that, and I was very happy. So that was that. It moved pretty quick. So what have we got regarding actual exits? Because my exit, so no, this was it. So yeah, there was my entry. Then I was trailing stop, so it kind of got to here. And then on Friday night, the market was down here. Now, where did I actually get out? Have I drawn it here? No, that was from the other one, isn't it? I could get you the price, but I don't need to. I did pretty well with my exit. So it was about there, I think. Oh, I really want to find that now. I'm not going to because it just takes up time. I did pretty well with my exit, given that that's what I was looking at. Now, this is where contracts, and myself and Virgil were talking about this. This is where contracts kind of change the way that I trade, because I'm all about runners, yeah? Or mainly about runners. Yeah, at least half. This trade was about running. So I had, I wanted it to run, but I had actually got a target on it as well of down here, which I thought it could make. So about 51. But when you was looking at it like that, so I'm kind of contradicting myself there, but I thought it had more to give anyway. I saw it kind of start to kind of pivot. It was Friday night. It had a massive extension like that. And I just thought UK oil will close again on this Thursday. What are the chances, what with the elections coming out, which is another thing, what are the chances of it reversing and basically losing a load of money? And I thought it was decent enough that it was worth taking some of the position off. Virgil gave me a slap because I had completely forgotten about maybe scaling out of the position, which is an obvious thing to do. But anyway, I was lying there having a siesta in my bloody hotel, and I just went Friday night. It was about 8 o'clock Spanish time, so 7:30, I don't know, whatever UK time, and I was like, I'll take the profit. So anyway, basically, because I thought there's a good chance of it retracing. I didn't want it to kind of retrace Monday, Tuesday, and then not come back down until like Friday or something, because the contract would have expired and I lost that. So anyway, as it's turned out, it did go back, which would have been disappointing for me. It's traded perfectly as far as kind of pullback stuff goes. Look at that, pulls back to this support level here. You see that? Love this stuff, man. I've been getting much more into these kind of pullback things recently. So it pulls back to the previous support level there. Poop. Almost to the pit there. Flips round, and now we're about where I was Friday. So I currently it's not been a bad decision. I don't think it's a bad decision anyway, but you know, then when you bring hindsight into it, it might run on and all good. But anyway, that was oil. So that little sucker there, because I was quite heavily leveraged, because I was able to have a really quite tight stop. So it was something like, I would have traded it a bit like that. So that would be my stop, yeah. And then that was, I think I got about 300 pips. And again, I'm doing all these positions from memory. So that was my risk. And then I had 300 pips. definitely actually got 300 pips, so I must have been a bit higher than that because I got a screenshot of it. 301 pips. Yeah, well, anyway, I can't remember. It was something along those lines. But you were basically looking at, what's that? That's 110, sorry, 55 pip. Let's call it 50 pip stop to, well, it's 300, isn't it? So what's that, 6R? Yeah, you see, that's a good trade. 6R is really good. In fact, that might be my best trade ever now I think of it. Anyway, can't be that much. I need to go and look at my numbers. But anyway, yeah, good trade. Only risk 0.25%. So, you know, I pulled out, what was it? Managed to get out 0.9 off of 0.25. How's that 6R? It's not. Something's not adding up. I'm doing something wrong anyway, so apologies. Yeah, it was. It's definitely not 6R. But yeah, I got a percent out of it for risk. It's been more like 4, just under 4R. Anyway, happy with that. Be interested to see what oil does. Obviously, you can't help but kind of look at it and go, oh, well, you know, I could have left it on. But, you know, you're never going to get it right. So I'm all happy with that. Now, what else can we talk about? So that was that. Let's hope it's the start of things to come. Hope, hope, hope. So what have I got on the table? I've got one trade open that I'm going to talk about in a minute. We've got quite a bit of news coming out. Obviously, we had all the French stuff. I wasn't really paying attention to it, but we had a lot of French news and markets are gapped open Sunday and Monday pretty, well, Sunday for the FX, pretty significantly. Sorry, I'm taking up so much of your time, 16 minutes there. Pretty significantly. So yeah, one thing I've noticed actually is so you've either been gapped out. If you've been gapped, you've either been slipped positively or negatively, yeah. And depending on, in this instance, depending on what side you're on, everyone's running around going, "Oh, I've had the best day ever," or I've had a really, really bad day, you know. And it's not. It's easy for me to say because I've only been positively affected by slippage in this situation. I'll come on to what it is, but I didn't have any trades open over the weekend, which wasn't because I was particularly batting down the hatches. That was just so happened that it went out that way. But yeah, I mean, so we had a thing mentioned earlier on about, you know, the brokers slippage, and so brokers can rip you off through slippage. Yeah, they definitely can. But when they gap this significantly, there's not much you can do. You know, the actual asset price has changed. Yeah, so you know, I used the example for one of our guys earlier on. We've got you know, you're selling a car on a Friday. People are interested in it. Someone's saying I'll pay like 9 grand for it. Someone else has said 10 grand. Oh, it's 950. You think, yeah, I might be able to get that up to 11 if I keep playing my cards right. This is all going well. But then over, you know, so you stop basically doing the dealings on the weekend. Then somebody else comes, you know, then over the weekend, someone turns up and says, oh, have you seen that thing? Tesla have just brought out these cars for 18 grand, unlimited fuel for life. Instantly, your car is very likely, you know, from 10 grand, it's probably going to fall down to something like 2 grand. I mean, it's a market reaction. So in theory, on that trade, you've been slipped. What was it? 7 grand? Oh, come on, brain, 9 grand. But that's not, you know, there is no broker there, but it's just the way the market works, right? Prices change. So FXCM haven't taken that money and stuck it in their pockets. What's probably happened is their underlying market will have shifted as well. So the prices which they or, you know, whatever they're offsetting against, I don't know how it works, but they must, you know, if they're taking the trade, they either take the risk on themselves, which is a different story, or they pass that risk on to someone else. So by passing that risk on to someone else, in theory, they should have the same problem. So anyway, I don't really see it as such an I'm using a broker issue. Obviously, in these situations, they have the opportunity to be able to screw you a bit more if they want to. That's true, but it's not all. It shouldn't be viewed as all horrendous. That is just a risk of doing business, which we all face. You know, and that happens when you buy anything. You know, if you buy a house, there's a risk that, I don't know, with a house, something burns down or something. You know, I don't know. The price can change, right? Or the value of it, which then the price can change. Oh, don't even get me started on that. The value can change, which means the price can change. Anyway, so that was my thoughts on that. So, Yeah, I was saying I positively got slipped, didn't I? So I kind of did. So I had an order. I had one remaining order open on. I'm going to get onto the weekly here, and then I will show you it, which appears to not be going too badly. Oh, we're up to 20 minutes. I don't like to push it over 20 because I doubt anyone makes it this far. So last little bit, USD Jappy. Let's get that open. So we're running okay. So I went through all the analysis on this trade last week. I actually got my buddy Virgil to have a little look at it. So what we had here was over on this area here. So weekly, let's try a circle. Here we had an area of a kind of pivotal area here. Saying that there's an area of support around this 10, what is it, 110 number, 110. You can see it's bounced off there. Didn't obey it here. But anyway, what we've got is this. The markets are moving down here. It's pulled back and it's heading down again. Okay. Now there are a few things going against this trade, in that the long people could very much be arguing that it would bounce off this 50 and go long. But I saw it as a short opportunity. So down on my daily chart here, can I get rid of that? Ugh. God, you put this crap on, then you can't get rid of it. There you go. So yeah, we're moving down nicely. Back at this 110 level. So we've got, I mentioned 110 a minute ago. You can see that there's a, it's attacked that. So it's moving down very nicely. It's support. Then it comes back, clips in, moves down. So I've got support here. I wanted the trade to move in. I'm quite tight here. I wanted the trade to move up into this region here. Let me get rid of that existing trade because it's actually quite confusing, isn't it? So I wanted, what my idea was, and bear in mind when I saw it, I was looking at it probably a bit like that or something. I put my order in about, I wanted it back there. I wanted it below this 110 because even though I thought I'd hit it, I thought it would, might not quite get there. And then I wanted to stop here above this kind of 21 EMA. Now, the pessimists or the less aggressive trader might say, let's get it up here, which would be a really confirmatory stop. I mean, I could still get clipped out here and it still could be going short, but that's what I wanted to do. Now, when I say I got positively slipped was, what happened was the market gapped. So where is it? And that's Sunday night. So what actually happened was I got filled much higher in my favor due to the slippage. Now, okay, so I'm saying I didn't get too affected by it. I have been positively affected here. So let's pop those trades back on the left there. So yeah, you can see here on the top trade, I basically called it at the top of where it is currently. So, or pretty well up. So yeah, it's moved on down. Now today I was looking at it. I looked at my risk on this. These are too tight, but I looked because I'd got filled early on. Is that the right one? Because I'd got filled earlier on at a better price than I'd hoped for, or than I'd aimed for, my risk had obviously gone down. So, instead of 0.25%, I had 0.18 there on there. So I have just popped in another order to up my risk, basically, because I want to up my risk on it. So I put another £8 in there. So I'm back at about 0.26% for this trade. Now this isn't a normal kind of trade that I do, so I don't want to kind of wind up the risk too much, but I think it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, going back to targets, it's effectively a support and resistance play. So if I get my weekly back up there, idea being is it's come down, it's pulled back up to this 10, it will get rejected at 10, and then what I consider to be reasonably sensible, I've got a stop here of just above this 105.50 number, which looks like another level of support. Now, when it gets down here, I will be hawkeyeing it, and I will probably offload a bit or do whatever. But anyway, yeah, that trade is running pretty well now. So what have we got here? I only filled this morning, so 0.17 up on that. So that's doing that. Risk 0.25%. That's the only thing I've got open at the moment. Long may this continue. Of course, there is a chance that this is, just going to come back down and continue its bullish trend. I may be able to have offloaded risk by that point, though. We will see. So that's that. 24 minutes. Jesus, sorry. Lots of new stuff coming up in the latter week. Loads of European stuff. So watch the Euro things, pairs. Where's that trade I want to talk about? NZD CAD. Yeah, okay. So I am going to keep an eye on this for another one of these bouncing trades. So big support level here. You can see it on the weekly. Yeah, you can probably see that straight off. The only question is, where do you put your stop loss? So what I'd really like to do is get, this is the order. So I'd like to get an order in about there. But I couldn't work out where to put my stop. So answers on the back of a postcard, really, because I'd really want to stop about there, and then just nothing too aggressive. Aim for there. So target here, entry here, stop here, something like that. I'd like anyone wants to leave me any thoughts on that. I'd appreciate it, because that's another thing actually. Not because I actually don't really like people's thoughts when it comes to trades. I like to check with people that I have complete belief in that what I'm talking isn't complete madness. But there's so many different ways of trading out there, and people do it all differently and different time frames and so much that it's actually really difficult to discuss. You see lots of things, don't you? So you could put in a group, oh, what do you think of NZD CAD short? I can make a case for that. I could make a case for it long as well. I can make a case, you can basically interpret it how you want, So yeah, all down to you. You've also got to trade your strategy, haven't you? Anyway, that is that from me. I covered everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so that's that. Trading finally had a good week. Long may it continue. We'll see how we do. But it's been lovely to talk to you, even though you don't talk back, but you should talk back. I'd love to hear from you. Keep rocking on. Go to Madrid if you can. Trade safe. Live the dream.